Year 2, welcome to your comprehension today for Tuesday the 2nd of March. We are going to do our comprehension activities today using the Year 2 comprehension book, and we're going to follow the same pattern that we have been thinking about. So we're going to make a little prediction, think about some tricky words, and we are going to do some practice questions. Okay, for today then our learning question says, can I answer questions about a fiction text? Let's have a think what we mean by fiction text. We've been quite good at remembering these, haven't we? We're getting really used to fiction and non-fiction now. So fiction texts are stories, aren't they? Stories, texts that have been made up. They are not true or about anything real. We have got some retrieval questions today and inference. So retrieval, picking out the answer, and inference, using the clues to come up with the answer. And our text today is called Our Pet Dinosaur. Our Pet Dinosaur, and it's on page 7 today. So have a little think with your grown-up like we normally do about a prediction about the text. So we know it is fiction and it's a story, and I would hope so, because I don't think there is anybody out there with pet dinosaurs. So it's a story. You know, it's a story called My Pet Dinosaur. Could you make some predictions using that information? Could you make some predictions about what sorts of things might happen if you had a pet dinosaur? Could you make some predictions about what it would be like to have a pet dinosaur, or what you think could be happening or be being mentioned in the text today? So have a little chat. It's prediction time. Our Pet Dinosaur, and it's a fiction text. What could it be about? What could happen? I bet you come up with some really, really good ideas. So when we read it, you'll be able to see if any of your predictions were correct. Okay, let's start with some tricky words then. Start with our tricky words for today. Remember, these can be words that we just have to know and that we can't sound out, or it could be words that the phonics doesn't always match what we know, or where we have to think about the phonics in a slightly different way. And then we are going to think about some words where we need to discuss the definition or the meaning. So this word then has got our long vowel sound. So letter O is making an O sound. So this word is the word most. Most. Most means not all, but lots of. So if you said, I am happy most of the time, it would mean that you're not happy all of the time, every single day, but most of the days you are happy. So near enough all of the time is most. What have we got next? Okay, so we've got our I and our E, making an E sound in this word. So this is, might need to chunk this word, might we? So fam, is, families, families. That's the plural of the word families. That's when you've got more than one family. Families, families. I've got EA then, making the E sound, E like for head. So we've got instead, instead. And instead is used, isn't it, where there is an option. So I didn't go to school today, I went to the doctor's instead. So where there is more than one option and you do something different. Okay, I didn't do my learning in the morning, I did it in the afternoon instead of doing something else. Okay. That's like two words joined together, isn't it? So we've got letter A making the E sound, because this is the word any, anyway. If you could put anyway into a sentence, I don't really like eating peas, but I eat them anyway. See if you could come up with one. Okay, next one. One of our tricky words. Ow. House. Don't think I would want a pet dinosaur in my house. We've had one of the words similar to this before, I think. Okay, so ease, E, making an E sound, S, ease, E-est, easiest. I think we had easier, didn't we, when we thought about the ukuleles? We had easier. Now we've got easiest, easiest. So when something is easier than something else, it means it's not as hard. If something is the easiest, it is the least hard out of all the things, the easiest thing to do. So think about the definition of some words there that we might come across today. So we've got only, lonely, and lonely is when you feel unhappy because of being alone. So sometimes we can be on our own, but we might be quite happy and not really mind that we're on our own. But if somebody is feeling lonely, it is when they are on their own and they are unhappy about it. So unhappy because of being alone. Okay, then we've got the word, it's quite a long word. So we've got explain, explained, explained. And explained means to have made something clear or given a reason for something. So if something has happened and you gave a reason why it's happened, you have explained. Or if there is something going on and you have made someone clear about what's going on, it might be that you've explained. So maybe if you've made a real big mess in your bedroom and your mummy says, what is going on here? You might have to explain what's going on. Or sometimes you might have to explain why you haven't brought your planner or your homework or things to school. So explained. Remember, ED means it is past tense. So I explained something to my little boy. Okay, right then. So it is time to read. So in your Year 2 comprehension book, you need to be on page 6. Okay, there's page 6. Just there. Our pet dinosaur. On your marks, get set and read. Come back to me when you're done. Okay, did you read? Did you spot those tricky words? Were any of your predictions right? Okay, let's have a little think then. So we've got our text because we always need our text in front of us when we are thinking about our questions. So let's go back to have a think about our practice questions. The first one then, the first practice question today says, do you think the family are happy to have Danny at their house? How can you tell? So this one is one of our 2-part questions. Do you think they are happy? How can you tell? Okay, so this one is like our inference question. We've got to say what we think using the evidence. So the how can you tell part, that is the evidence which links to the text. So we should hopefully have an impression about how the family feel because there has been some clues in the text. Let's see what it says then. Okay, now, so the first part, if we remember from reading it, is just explaining what happened and how they came to have the dinosaur. So I don't think it will be in the top part, so I'm going to read from here. So it says, Danny isn't the easiest pet to look after, but we love him anyway. I think that gives us a clue to the answer. So it hasn't got the word happy in. It doesn't say they are happy, but it says that they love him anyway. And I think if they love him anyway, they are quite happy to have him as a pet. But it did say, didn't it, that he's not the easiest pet to look after. So I think he can be a bit difficult to look after as well, but I think they're still quite happy to have him around. So do you think the family are happy to have Danny at their house? How can you tell? So I'm going to say yes, they are happy. Yes, they are happy. Or yes, I think they are happy. So yes, they are happy. And then we need because it asks how we can tell. They are happy because, and just snuck that on, it tells us that they love him. It tells us that they love him. I'll have to fit my last word on the button. It tells us that they love him. I think they are happy to have him at their house, aren't they? I wonder if you would be happy to have a pet dinosaur at your house. Right, this one then is more of a retrieval question. Why did Dad get sent to the pet shop? Okay, why did Dad get sent to the pet shop? So I'm thinking about Dad, and I'm thinking about where it tells us that Dad went to the pet shop. I'm going to go back to my text. I'm going to look for my key words. Okay, let's have a little see. So it told us about that at the top, didn't it? Oh, I can see the word sent. Mom sent him to the pet shop. So there's my keywords. So I've got some of my keywords there. Mom sent him to the pet shop to get a hamster, but he came home with Danny instead. So why did he get sent to the pet shop? To get a hamster. Goodness me, I wonder what Mum thought when he came home. So why was Dad sent to the pet shop? I can just copy part of it down because it is a retrieval question. So he, or I could have started with Dad, couldn't I? But I've started with he. He was sent to the pet shop to buy a hamster. He was sent to the pet shop to buy a hamster. I wonder if that's the kind of thing your daddies might do. He was sent to the pet shop to buy a hamster. Find the evidence, find the answer in the text, and we can copy it down. He was sent to the pet shop to buy a hamster. Right, let's have a think about your practice questions, your actual questions then. Now we've done the practice ones, haven't we? Thinking about the actual questions now. There are 3 questions then to do today. The first one of yours is very similar to the first practice question that we had. It says, do you think the family were shocked when Dad brought Danny home? How can you tell? So we need to look at the part of the text where Dad brought Danny home, and we need to see what it tells us. What clues are there that might give it away to us to show whether they were shocked or not? Why do you think they might have been shocked? Okay, so have a think about what it said. Okay, remember, it might not always have the exact keywords in the question, in the text. Okay, so do you think the family was shocked when Dad brought Danny home? So you need to read about the part that tells you when he brought him home. What does it say? Does that show us whether they were surprised? So yes, I think they were surprised because, or no, they weren't. Because, to give our reason. Question 2, why did Dad decide to take Danny home? Why did Dad decide to take Danny home? Right, so that one should be able to retrieve the answer. And question 3, why does Danny have to stay in the garden? Garden's our keyword, isn't it? Can you copy down what it tells us about why he has to stay in the garden? So 1 inference question and 2 retrieval questions for today. Your challenge then for today says, would you like to have a pet dinosaur? Why or why not? So we have those kinds of questions in our comprehension books sometimes, don't we? Would you like to have a pet dinosaur? Why or why not? Okay. You could write that one down so I could see, or it might be something that you want to have a chat about with your grown-up. You could maybe do that one verbally. And then I asked you, if you had a pet dinosaur, what would you call it and what would you do with it? Okay, so would you like to have a pet dinosaur? Why or why not? If you did have one, what would you call it and what would you do with it? So remember, you can do our challenges in your red lined book. Okay, and I would love to see how well you get on and what your answers would be. Okay, so I would like to see your pages in your comprehension book, and then if you have had a go, and I hope that lots of you will, if you've had a go at doing our writing challenges today, doing those questions, I would love to see your answers. Would I like to have a pet dinosaur? I don't think I would. So I don't think I would like to have a pet dinosaur because I think they might make lots of mess. I think dinosaurs could make lots and lots of mess. If I had a pet dinosaur, what would I call it and what would I do with it? Well, if I had a pet dinosaur, it depends what it might look like. Maybe you would want to draw the pet dinosaur that you might want to have and then name it. Okay, but if it was a large dinosaur, maybe Jumbo would be a good name, or maybe Dizzy Dinosaur. What would I do with it? I think my little boy would have lots and lots of fun taking it for a walk. Okay, can't wait to see your answers today. You too. Keep working really, really hard, and I hope you enjoyed that text today. See you tomorrow.